I came here in May of 2015, and this board had just passed a $225 million bond referendum, and in August brought Don, and Don and I immediately started pulling on our coaching mentality, and I started talking about Lexington 2 and something called the Gonzaga Swagger. If you don't know the Gonzaga Swagger, Gonzaga is a school that's got 5,200 kids in it in Spokane, Washington, of all places. And in 70 years of basketball, they've won 25 conference championships and then been in the nationals 22 of those times. Their motto seems to be, we don't care who you are, how big you are, how good you are, we'll play anytime, anywhere. I would submit to you that whenever you leave here tonight, if you don't have the Gonzaga Swagger, you ain't paying attention. In 2014, this is what we looked like in Lexington 2. The community's perceptions before our board voted, our voter-approved referendum came about is our facilities were updated. They were among the oldest in the Midlands. Classrooms were overcrowded. The graduation rates were below the state average. In 2010, 63.5% of the kids in this district were graduating. That translates to 4 out of every 10 didn't. Lexington 2 found themselves in a competition, and you've got to think about this as competition because it's out there and it's alive and well. River Bluff had just opened, and it was arguably the finest high school facility in the state of South Carolina, if not the Southeast. Gray opened up and pulling kids away from the school district, and East Point was sucking up elementary age kids. Charter schools were gaining ground. They offered personalized experiences. Our vocational programs were limited. We double dipped in the fact that we had 2 automotive classes. We didn't get kids across to one school or the other. Kids were going to college, but none of them were going with a lot of credits. In comes the bond referendum, and I would dare say most people in this room worked really hard for that 2014 bond referendum, and that passed by a 2-to-1 margin. 66% of the people in this community voted for a $225 million bond referendum. The overview of that referendum, we get $225 million, and the vision was that we're going to create a district where the aging facilities are improved, the technology is improved, there's more safety, there's more security in our buildings. We're going to have a 1-to-1 technology device for all kids, K-12. We will touch every building in this district, either to completely remodel it or completely rebuild it. New, we're going to build an innovation center, and we're going to build a performing arts center. The numbers I will give you are accurate as of 6/30/2020. So when you see that, we stopped the books at the fiscal year for this report. So they won't be off very much, but don't look at it and say, that's not quite right today. That's the end of the fiscal year. The original budgets, when I walked in May of 2015, Venus handed me this sheet and was off to Bluffton. We had $225,053,000 and change budgeted. I don't know where the budgeting actually came from. It's broken out. We're going to give you this sheet in hard copy because I know that's hard to read. Those of you that have been on the board for a long time, you've already seen this. But each school was laid out. There was a certain amount attributed to the hard cost, to the soft cost, and to the total projects. The thing for you to remember that I would urge is that it was $225 million. When I came here, they were talking about 2 different school settings. It was affectionately known as the triplets and the twins. Elementary 1 was going to be the triplets. In other words, we were going to combine 3 schools, BC Grammar number 1, Pine View, Saluda River, all into one school on Henbeth. And looking and talking and figuring and thinking about what do 1,300 elementary kids look like in one space, we've come up with what I would say is a much better plan that this board approved. In addition to combining two schools, we kept Saluda River Academy Arts as a magnet school for the arts. And I would dare say that right now, most everybody is delighted about that because it truly is an arts magnet school and it truly is a beautiful school. Long story short, that project ended up $9.371 million more than the projected cost. Don't fear, it works out, I promise. Riverbank Elementary comes online. We've got early childhood wing, we've got elementary wings, a new cafetorium, an inside gym. We can open that up to make a single space between those two. We've got project labs, collaborative learning spaces, windows with light, energy, efficiency, air, lighting, state-of-the-art safety features, the intruder resistance glass, phone systems, access controls, all of those things, and that cost was $34.8 million. At Saluda River, that was originally scheduled to be part of the new Riverbank. The wisdom in keeping that school as an arts magnet school, we now have a new cafetorium, a gym, arts performance spaces, a bigger media center, the safety features that needed to go in there, LED lighting, and we furnished all of the new spaces, but we provided $300 a student to buy new furniture for that school because a lot of the furniture in the school had been there for years on end. Actual cost was $13.6 million. That's what we had before the bond referendum. And that's what we end up with. Elementary number 2 was called the Twins. That was to combine Taylor Elementary and Davis Early Childhood Center for Technology into one new school. And it had been, I'm not sure when I left here the first time, Davis and Taylor were both elementary schools, but it had been a long while since we had put early childhood and elementary together. That was a unique situation in and of itself because there were two different schools. They had two different goals. They had two different groups of clientele, and getting them to come together and work together as an elementary school was a unique situation. The projected cost of that was $33.8 million. It came in at 33.5, and so we ended up $266,000 under what the actual proposed cost would be and ended up with an absolutely lovely elementary school. Again, it has the elementary and early childhood wings, the indoor gymnasium, the cafetorium. You can open both of those up and make a larger space. Project labs, collaborative learning areas, one-to-one technology, all the natural light you could ever imagine, all of the safety features, and it's furnished with absolutely brand new furniture and equipment, $33,500,000. The before and the after. Airport High School, the proposed budget was $15,580,000. The overall task force interest seemed to center around safety features, HVAC, roofing, flooring, restroom renovations, intercoms, lighting, some new athletic areas, renovating the auditorium, doing some work in the old vocational wing, resurfacing the track, a new locker room, trainer's room, all of those things at the end of the football field, and replace the breezeway canopies. when the project ended, you can see, and I won't take the time to read everything there, you are going to get a copy of this presentation, but we ended up with much more done there than was first proposed, and then we gave Airport High School $300 per student for new furniture throughout the building. And that was well needed there too. We had not had a furniture budget in this district in a long, long time. I know that there was furniture at Airport High School that was there when I was the principal, Ms. Rucker was a student. So, the after product. At Brooklyn Casey High School, the proposal was for new HVAC, some security features, roofing, plumbing, restrooms where needed, lighting upgrades, upgrade to the gym, the old gym, resurface some tennis courts, add a batting cage, concession stands, toilets, and do some renovation in the auditorium, new basketball arena, track renovations, some classroom renovations in the vocational wing, select window replacement, basically putting the correct size window in, replacing some breezeways and canopy covers, and the fire alarm. The projected cost was $27 million. The actual cost was $29.4. That's not including the fact that we bought some property and tore down a hotel. But here's what we got for all that. We built a new athletic arena that I would argue is as fine as anywhere. We've done a complete major auditorium restoration, and it looks as good as the day it was built, if not better. We added the one-to-one technology, all of the safety features, all of the cameras, phone access, the digital signage, installed HVAC, the plumbing, LED lighting, resurfaced 4 of the tennis courts, added a 5th tennis court, replaced the windows in the north wing, making them the correct size, added baseball and softball concessions and toilets, painted the entire school, added whiteboards, interactive panels, replaced breezeway covers, 2 science labs, installed Bermuda grass, built the press box, and again, provided $300 in funding per student for new furniture throughout the building. Busby Creative Arts Center, that was probably the building that was in the best shape in the district at the time of the bond referendum. The proposal was for safety features, extend the sidewalk, canopy in the back of the school, do some erosion repair, add some capacity to the 700 hall electrical room, electronic locks on the exterior doors, do some landscaping and facade improvements, and relocate the dumpsters. You can see we've added an ADA accessible basketball playground. Mr. Eisenhower and I were over there one day, and those kids were learning to be tremendous players, but because they were actually dribbling around one of those green dumpsters before they could shoot. So we've replaced that. We've added the one-to-one technology, added some sidewalk on the cafeteria side, extended the bus canopy, built a turning lane in there. The projected cost was $1.8 million, turned out to be 1.5. Net of $260,000. No more shooting around dumpsters. At Congaree Elementary, the proposal was for a pitch metal roof facade, HVAC in the office, some plumbing, some lighting, some interior paint, renovate some classroom sinks and water fountains, replace the media center ceiling tiles, add 2 classrooms, some asbestos demolition work, and some outside lighting. We ended up, the project was projected at $8.5 million. We spent 9.2. About $750,000 extra. We put in fire alarms, sprinkler systems, new roof, lighting upgrades, HVAC, flooring. We painted the entire facility, converted the old cafeteria into the gym, added one-to-one technology, added all the safety features that we could want, new group restrooms, 2 new classrooms, converted the old gym, and gave them $300 a child for new furniture. If you saw those areas right there beforehand, I'd say it's a marked improvement. Fulmer Middle School, the proposal, the projected cost was $13 million, and the proposal was to repair and enclose some breezeways, replace the clock, the bell system, the phones, cameras, replumbing, some bathroom renovations, some lighting upgrades, a new kitchen, cafeteria. That project turned into, we demolished more than half of the school and rebuilt it to add a new cafeteria, kitchen, a media center, art rooms, administrative areas, science labs, one-to-one technology, improved the play areas, added safety features to it, installed new flooring, added restrooms, repainted and re-roofed the existing facility, installed security fencing, LED lighting, HVAC, actual cost of $20.9 million for an additional $7.7 million from the projected cost. Northside Middle, proposed was HVAC and flooring, upgrade and expand the security camera system, add the electronic locks, put some gutters and scuppers in, paint the interior of the building. Projected cost was just over $2 million. We finished at just under budget by basically $32,000. But what we did do is we added more to the actual amount of work. Painted the entire facility, added the safety features, the one-to-one technology, the phone system, the digital sign system, the LED lighting, replaced most of the floor and new cafeteria sound system, installed all new roof scuppers, pointed up all the brick, installed waterproofing on the gym wall, installed gutters on the front canopy, and paid $300 per student in funding for new furniture. Out at Pine Ridge, the projected cost was $9.8 million. Actual cost was $10 million for a $177 add-on. The idea was new HVAC, roofing, plumbing, restroom renovations, all of those same things. We built a new cafetorium, kitchen, some flooring replacement, renovated the group restrooms, added group male and female restrooms, LED lighting, converted the cafeteria into classroom space and the old kitchen into a multi-purpose classroom and storage space, painted the entire facility, replaced all the whiteboards and interactive panels, added one-to-one technology, replaced all the rotted fascia and soffit, added all the safety features, replaced the fire alarms, the intruder system, re-roofed most of the building and replaced most of the HVAC units and added $300 per pupil for new furniture and improved fire department access. That's a picture of the cafeteria area that was added there. Herbert A. Wood, the proposal, majority of it was 4 classroom additions for 4K, then lighting, safety, those kinds of things. We actually ended up adding 5 classrooms, replaced the roof on the elementary portion, replaced most of the HVAC, Added a sprinkler system, replaced the fire alarm, the intruder system, the 111 technology, painted the building, added the safety features, the phone system, the digital signs, the glass. We installed first responder radio enhancement, LED lighting, flooring upgrades. The projected cost was $7.4 million. We spent $8.6 million for an add of $1,254,000. Springdale Elementary, the projected cost was $9.5 million. The actual cost turned out to be $16.5 million. We had proposal for extensive renovations and additions, new HVAC, awnings on the front of the building, upgrade and expand the security system, locks, replumb the school, add restrooms to make sure we kept up with student growth, renovate classroom sinks and water fountains. We ended up building 6 new classrooms, new restrooms, teacher workrooms, administrative wing, nurses station, SRO office, adding the one-to-one technology, adding a new bus loop, 2 new student pickup areas. Most of you will remember, I remember when I dropped William off, you just pulled over on the sand there and it kind of jumped out. So, but we've got 2 new student pickup and drop-off areas, covered walkways, more parking, improved fire department access, cafeteria, the media center, on, and you can read that. And then ultimately for all of the new spaces, they were fully furnished. For the other spaces, the old spaces, we provided $300 a child in funding for new furniture there, so we didn't have old furniture in a new building. Lexington II Innovation Center. Our proposal was to build and equip the CATE Center that could be used by both high schools and prepare students to be in a career or college ready. The result, we built a state-of-the-art facility that is fully equipped. It's 117,000 square feet. It houses spacious rooms. It has dual enrollment college courses. It has career and technical education classes. The facility is absolutely fantastic. There is a room there, a multi-purpose room that will seat 240 people in theater-style seating and 290 people for dinner if you have some sort of community school dinner. The multi-purpose room has programmable LED stage lighting, a large screen, and a sound system that is tremendous. The projected cost was $30,977,000. The actual cost was $29,271,000. And there are several projects I want to call your attention to, and this is one of them. The difference of $1.7 million doesn't have anything to do with the diligence of CM at risk. That $1.7 million has to do with the fact that Joni and Bernie went over a year early, and before the building was built, and most all of the equipment that is in that building, they put together with Perkins grant funds and saved this district $1.7 million. So Joni's not here, Bernie is. Thank you guys, cause your salary, I'd trade it for $1.7 million every day. If you haven't been in this building, it's tremendous. Other projects that have gone on, the former Davis Elementary, it has new roofing, new plumbing, HVAC, carpet in certain areas. It housed Springdale as a swing school. It housed Fulmer as a swing school. It's now Newbridge, the alternative program. If you look at that, the projected cost was $1.6 million. The actual cost was $830,000. And again, we've got a group of folks that we've got to say thank you to, because that work was self-performed construction. And basically what that means is, in addition to doing what they do every day, our maintenance guys did that and saved us $856,000. Bill, if you'll tell your guys, we appreciate that. The first project that Don and I worked on together here was the transportation parking lot. He still complains about that. We had a contract. The contract projected cost was $431,000. He couldn't get it down past 201. Swears that if we'd got the contract earlier, he would have saved more than $229,000. I don't know, but I'm appreciative of the fact that all of these are coming in under budget. Lexington II Community Education Center, we never had that. That wasn't part of the bond referendum. We repurposed BC Grammar number 1. That was Christy Henderson's idea, that they have a space of their own, and that's turned into a one-stop shop. Jim's got student services there. We got adult ed there. We got early childhood there. Families can come. Again, kudos to one of our folks, because most of the conversion for that center, the new flooring, the new paint, the furniture, the AV, the additional parking, all of those things that you see in the middle portion, the bulk of that work was done because of money that Christie was able to get from the State Department of Education. We do have some CPIF funded renovations in there, but not nearly what that building costs. That's Lexington II people working really hard, again, to be good team players. The Performing Arts Center, our challenge is to build a performing arts auditorium to serve the elementary, middle schools, and possibly be built at George I. Pear campus. That possibly at George I. Pear campus came because the first meeting I was in, I was asked, where do you think to put it? That's the only spot that didn't have any place designated to go there, and it's the exact center of the district. So first meeting, my answer was George I. Pear campus. Since that time, we've been able to sell the district office instead of replacing the roof and replacing the air conditioning, replacing the carpet and replacing the lighting, and should have replaced the flooring a long time ago. And our current plan is to build a state-of-the-art facility of about 2,000 seats on 29 acres at the corner of Saks Gotham, 12th Street Extension. We'll have a meeting on December the 8th to talk about all the details of that facility. That would be the last piece of this bond referendum. Land acquisitions, we bought $16 million worth of land. Casey Elementary, Riverbank, Henbet, Cougar Drive, Springdale Bus Loop, Saluda River Lot, BC, 12th Street Extension, and Platte Springs. Our project totals are this. If I can divert you to the very bottom. If we were running to that first sheet that I showed you with all those projections, we would have $225 million and we would have spent $207 million, which would leave us $18 million to do the district office and the Fine Arts Center. To date, we have spent, and new board members don't get excited because we're not the least bit in the red. I've got some good news for you. We have spent $254 million. Everywhere got more building than was ever projected or ever thought of. In addition, we got a pay-as-you-go long-range plan that we call the 2030 plan. And without any sort of unseen catastrophe, this board won't have to do a bond referendum for the life of this plan. We'll continue to do what we have done, use short-term issuances, and end up paying those off year by year. Now, when I told you we spent $254 million and you were scheduled for $207 million, what I didn't tell you is that we have turned $225 million bond referendum into over $300 million. And that comes about from interest rates, timing our bond sales. It comes from the fact that Bernie and Joni ends up writing grants to get $1.7 million worth of equipment. It comes from the fact that Bill's folks did $1 million worth of in-house work. It comes from the fact that Christy Henderson was able to get State Department grants. But right now, today, this board has parlayed $225 million into over $300 million. That's a 33% increase in funds. And now you have over $60 million to build a district office and a fine arts center. That money is money that is capital projects. It's not money that can be moved into something else. We can't balance budgets. We can't increase our general fund budget. We can build with that. But the good thing for this board, the good thing for this community is this is a windfall. I don't know of anywhere you can put money and get a 33% gain in 5 years. But we've done it in Lexington too. In addition, if you look at the right hand, the total column, Lexington 2 has the lowest millage rate in the Midlands. It would take another 100 mills to get us to the next district. So you got the lowest millage rate in the Midlands. We've got all of those projects. They're paid for, and you've got $300 million instead of $225. How do we do on what we do? Because we don't build buildings. We teach kids. Again, I think it's time to break out the Gonzaga swagger. 2019 was unprecedented. COVID hit, we got shut down in March. Nobody in the history of the country had ever heard of every school in America closing in the middle of the year. We did. For everybody that thought it was bad, being in other districts was horrible. We were one of 15 districts in the state of South Carolina that were e-learning pilot district. We had already passed out to kids one-to-one technology. Our teachers had already prepared lessons and already were familiar with the e-learning process. They weren't familiar with how do you teach virtually for a year, but they knew how to teach virtually for 5 days, which put them ahead of the other roughly 70 districts. In addition to teaching, we served more than 310,000 free meals from March to August. We sent out buses. We had 4 different school sites. Our goal was to keep kids fed. We have in Lexington 2, we have about a 78% poverty rate. Our goal was not to let kids go hungry. We had dedicated times where buses would go out, take hot spots, set up where technology would connect. We provided more digital resources. We brought in Seesaw, which is a learning management system for K-1-2, put in some after-school tutoring, put in some social and emotional support, group online meetings, support specialists that would call individual kids and talk to them to provide support, referrals for families to assist with food and housing, coordination with DSS, check on at-risk kids, share resources for community and organizations to different agencies that people needed. We gave instructional support, professional development. All in all, our teachers came in, almost all of them, if not all of them, came back in for 3 days more of training in the summer just to figure out how to help kids virtually more. And we were able to pay them at their daily rate, which was an outstanding thing. But please take note of all of that line there. None of that has to do with reading or writing. All that has to do with making sure we take care of the basic needs of kids in this district. Graduations, we pulled them off. It didn't look like graduation for a lot of places, but our folks did well again. If you look at it, we had $14 million in scholarship money. That's $14 million that did not leave the pockets of Lexington II residents. If you got a child in college or got a child about to go to college, you understand how important that is. Suitable number of honor grads with distinction, high honors, Palmetto Fellows, and then in addition to that, the Innovation Center saved $230,000 in post-high school training and professional certificates. Our fire rescue comes out fully certified, fully ready to go to work. Our welding kids come out certified, ready to go. Our cosmetology kids ready to go to work. They don't pay for any of that. That's us, and we saved them $230,000. Graduation, it was slow, and you could bring your own, and some people brought one or two in a small car, and we actually had somebody borrow a church bus and bring everybody, but it didn't matter. When you look at our graduation rate, we're at 81%. Think back, stop just a minute. 10 years ago, 63%. Today, 81%. Students with disability, it increased this year 10.5 percentage points. That's kids with IEPs, to 54.9. That's 8 percentage points less than everybody 10 years ago. African American students, where most people are trying to catch up and fill that learning gap, we aren't where we need to be, but we're at 78%. And that's above the state average. Economically disadvantaged, I told you we were 78% poverty. 77% are graduating, and that's higher than the state average. Homeless students, the kids who need us the most, who got nowhere to go, 82.5% of them are graduating from our schools. That's 20% higher than the state average. SAT used to be the benchmark when I was a principal. The state average in South Carolina is 1019. The national SAT average, for all those people who talk about, oh, how that good they do way off over yonder somewhere, it's 1035 in Lexington. Now, I know that I'm not a mathematician, but Lexington 2, 1035, national average 1030, looks like we're a little bit better than the nation in both high schools. So it's not skewed one way or the other, that one high school's 1,400 and the other one's 7. Across the board, our kids are doing better for those kinds of tests than other folks. The AP classes, we've had gains in AP. The cutoff is a 3. The maximum you can score is a 5. Students scoring a 3 or better on AP exams has increased just over 9% in 3 years. We've got 1 national AP scholar, 10 AP scholars with distinction, 11 with honors, 42 AP scholars, and 2 national merit semifinalists. Again, across the board, because there's 1 at both high schools. That's the top 1% of students in America. There's 1 at Airport, there's 1 at BC. Our early college program, we got 109 kids that are enrolled in various phases of the early college program. 22 of them have earned certificates and diplomas, or both of them. The unique thing about those kids, they're getting a college diploma before we give them a high school diploma. 6 of them earned an Associate of Arts or Associate of Science. 1 of them earned both. The minimum is 62 college credits. That's 62 college credits their parents didn't have to pay for. 18 earned a general college study certificate. That's a minimum of 18 credits, but not a degree. 28 earned a college scholar recognition. That's a minimum of 18 college credits and 6 courses and a 3.0 GPA. 432 courses, 1,276 college credits earned. That's a success with our kids, and that's money in our parents' pockets. Lexington II and the Midlands Technical College have had a good partnership. We were the first public school district in the Midlands to partner with Midlands Tech. We were also the first to partner with them on the early college program, and our kids are going to school there during the regular high school day at no cost. And they're getting hours and they're getting degrees, and they're going off to schools all over the country with those hours from Midlands Tech, and it's been a great partnership with them. The adult ed, we missed some folks. I told you, our graduation rate's 81%. Christy and her folks awarded 164 GEDs. You can take a GED and go to Harvard. That's just as good as a diploma for going to college. There's no college that's accredited in the country that won't take a GED from an accredited adult education program. They gave out 10 high school diplomas and 222 work key credentials. Some other successes, one of the goals for this board that I was given is to reduce class size. Our average, and most of these, when we say average, they're actual. We have a few classes where they aren't, but most of them are actual. 20 to 1 in elementary, 23 to 1 in middle school, and at our high schools, we have 1 certified adult for every 17 students. We've reduced chronic absenteeism to 8.9% from 19.28%. We're in year 2 of the one-to-one technology refresh plan. The ELL teachers have a district-wide curriculum now to implement in grades 1 through 12. And we're trying to provide some consistency for both enrichment and remediation for students in their daily schedule with intervention time at every level. We talked about this last year. We are Lexington II, and we've got something to have swagger about. If you look at what makes us up, we got state-of-the-art facilities, and I'd argue they're as good as they are anywhere. We have customized student experiences. We got fiscal strength. We're in the best financial state of the history of this district. Our fund balance is in better shape than it has been. We have been responsible for the 2014 bond referendum to the voters of this district, turning $225 million into over $300 million, and we think we're a school of choice. Throughout this district, choosing Lexington II is a smart return on your investment as a parent. But
we are Lexington II.
It's all about me.
it's our kids.
Yeah, it's all about me. And you know I'm right. It's all about me. Just to shed some light. It's all about me. And I'll say again, it's all about me. Yeah, me. Yeah, me. It's all about me. And I'll say again, it's all about me. And it's always been all about me. You know I'm right. It's all about me. That's called It's All About Me.
We are Lexington II.
We are Lexington II.
We are Lexington!
That's what it's about. It's not about anything other than those young people that you see on that screen across this district We got 8,700 of them, and every day we give them a good education. I also have to tell the board I owe Greg Bickley, who is a Lexington II graduate, 37 cents for the royalties on that song. Greg is the author, the composer, and was the performer for me, but my understanding is if you use copyrighted material, you gotta pay, and the minimum is 37 cents. So I'll be sending him a quarter, a dime, and 2 pennies on a postcard. We've got a great school system. And regardless of what folks in the community, out of the community, or wherever think, our kids are doing as well as they are anywhere, and data's data. Our facilities are as fine as they can be anywhere else. The money is there for you to do what you want to do, and our general fund budget is sound. Our job is to remember it ain't about me, it ain't about Don, it ain't about you. It's about them. And we've got a perfect opportunity to do that. And if that don't make you want a Gonzaga swagger, I didn't explain it good enough. Madam Chair, I'm finished.